Hello and welcome to my brand new series, Glen Echo Park. This is actually a project that I started in 2021? Yeah, 2021. That's what we're gonna go with. I promptly abandoned it like I do most things, but it's just kind of been sitting on my computer, gathering dust. And with the announcement of Planet Coaster 2, it got me kind of excited to try and finish a project. We only have a couple months, so I'm not gonna say for certain that it's gonna happen, but I wanted to try anyway, just as a nice little way to celebrate and send off this game that I've been playing for the past 8 years. So this project is actually partially a recreation. Glen Echo Park does exist in real life. It closed sometime in the 1960s, but it does continue operation today as an arts and cultural center. It's actually run by the National Park Service, of all things. It has this really unique mix of architectural styles and has some nice terrain changes going on that I thought would be a nice canvas to try and replicate. And this is also kind of like a what if. What if the park didn't close? What if it existed into the modern era? And that's allowed me to add my own little twists on things. And there will be some expansion in here that never existed. So I'm kind of excited to try that out. We'll see where it goes. But anyway, starting off here, we're going to start with what inspired me to look at this park in the first place. I originally found the park by looking up reference for carousel covers. For the eagle-eyed among you who know my work, you might recognize this shape. This is the inspiration for the carousel cover that I made for my park Diamond Heights. The reason it stood out to me specifically was because of this cool design right on the roof. I don't think I've ever seen a carousel that has this kind of intricate design. But yeah, it drew me to it, and eventually I wanted to try and recreate it, and that kind of spurred on the whole project. I'm very happy with how it turned out. It's quite simple in its design. It's really not that intricate. It's pretty much just a shingle wall, a bunch of windows, some brickwork, and some white trim. The only intricate part about it is really the roof. And this was really more tedious than anything. It's pretty much just, here, let me get into the UI real quick. It's pretty much just these TMTK items. This one is like an art shape that's more flat. We also have some TMTK beams for the actual design of it all. I won't say that it came together painlessly, because it didn't. It was very tedious, but in the end, it was worth it. I'm very proud of this. As we come to the inside of it, you can see there's not really much going on in here. I've left this space just for people who don't necessarily want to ride, but they want to see other people riding it, people watching, or, families who want to see their kids go on here. And then the queue over here, which we have some nice little safety information. The queue wraps around the entire ride. And then as we get up here, you can see we have the organ from the vintage pack. And I'm not really sure how these work in real life, but what's going on back here is these carousels, the way they make the music, they kind of have this punch card feeding into it, and that has all the notes and stuff for all the different instruments that get played. I thought it would be kind of cool to have a little library of like different cases for the punch cards in back here. It's a really subtle detail that you can only see a glimpse of, but it adds so much character to it. And then you pretty much just exit right back into this common area. Up here, we have this ice cream stall. This does exist in the real park, but it doesn't have this color scheme, and it does not sell ice cream. But the thing that makes this building interesting, while it is pretty much just a circle, It's got these nice little Art Deco cutouts that I pretty much just replicated by using some TMTK beams. The texture doesn't really line up all that well with the, I think I used adventure pieces here. But it's not really that noticeable. And then these are actually in-game signs that I used. So that's fun. Coming up here, this is actually where you can start to see some of the terrain shifts that are going to be happening. You can see that these shifts are actually influencing the architecture. And once again, this does exist in the real park. I took this refreshment sign from one of my other projects, just because I didn't feel like making a whole new sign for it. This is good enough, I think. I did at some point have the invisible doodads mod installed, but I really didn't feel like reinstalling it for this. So rather than having actual shop stalls here, I opted to use these vending machines that the game gives us. As far as I can tell, they function just like stalls, so there's not really any sort of functional problems with it. It just looks kind of a little bit whack, but it's fine. I don't really care that much. And as we turn around from the refreshment building, we can see this nice little seating area that I have set up here. Pretty simple. It's just a seating area. There's nothing special going on. You can see it interacts with the sky ride a little bit. Condiment stands. I didn't really know what to put in this corner. When in doubt, just put a stall in. And then you can see we also have these cool lights to help illuminate this entire area at night. It's just because I wouldn't be able to fit smaller lights in the middle, and I think that would just kind of make it look a little too cluttered. So it's just pretty much stage lights. Additionally, we have this Om Nom Bakery. This is a stall that was in the, I don't know if it was in the original park, but it's definitely in the modern park. The colors are influenced by this sign. Idro made this sign. It's TMTK. I think it's one of the Bro Nation brands. I think Mass Bandit actually originally made this brand. But yeah, it's a cute little design. I'm very happy with the way it came out. It's I shouldn't say it's compact, but it's definitely scaled well. Despite how large it might seem. The only reason it's that large is because I needed to include some room for the kitchen in the back, and even then, this is still incredibly compact. And then on the other side, we have some restrooms. Nothing really fancy going on here. But this is all, as you can see, this is all part of the same large building. It's just a whole bunch of Art Deco facades kind of stringed together. And it all ends in this very, very nice Midway. Once again, taken directly from the real park. I didn't change too much about it. This is pretty much the color scheme it has IRL. But one thing I did have, I had these signs special made for me by my good friend Mineral. If you haven't checked him out, if you're seeing my stuff, you've probably seen Steve Town by this point. But yeah, this is pretty much what he did in return for that spinning coaster that I made for him. And then it uses all of the Midway props from Ruble Trillions. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. These have lasted the test of time. But yeah, that pretty much sums up the Midway, I think. There's not really much going on. Once again, you've got some unfinished stuff over here. We're going to be touching on this in the future, just not right now. And then back over towards the carousel, we do have a secondary eating area. Unlike this one's design is pretty much influenced by the Art Deco architecture, while this one is very much influenced by this carousel cover. And that's just me trying to bring in this interesting dichotomy between the different architectural styles that this park uses. So it's a lot more rustic, uses stonework, a lot of woodwork, this stall, yet another stall. I don't remember where I got this from originally, but I've used it in quite a few projects since then, and I think it's found its final home. You'll notice that the brickwork here also matches that of the carousel. So I kind of wanted to make it look like it was all built at the same time, just to kind of tie it together. And as this area gets fleshed out a little bit more, it'll probably look a lot better than it does right now. So we're just going to focus on this side. One thing that completely unintentional, but I love, is the way that these trees kind of frame the carousel cover. I think that came out so nice. Oh, and actually, if you haven't noticed by now, I'm using the autumn trees, which I very rarely have seen these used. But yeah, I think with the onset of Planet Coaster 2, it makes me want to use pieces that I never used before. So I'm continuing with this fall theme, and you can actually see an additional detail. I'm using the roses for the leaf cover on the ground, and I didn't realize this, but there's actually falling leaf effects in the base game that are completely recolorable, and they lend themselves extremely well to this aesthetic. But yeah, other than that, I don't really think that there's much else to show off at this point. If this continues, I think it'll be interesting to see how this side develops. I already have a few ideas of what to do, and also I'm definitely gonna be finishing this building off. I know that, because it's already this far, so a little bit more shouldn't be too hard. And as we zoom out here, you can actually see the entire scope of the project. It's pretty much set within this entire area. In real life, this ridge is cut off by a highway, so that pretty much marks where the end of the park will be. Out front, you have another access road. Well, I shouldn't say access road. It's a main road. The park does not own it. But it just comes up into this, in real life, there's like a small town right here. And then on this side, this is where the real parking lot was. And as you can see, I kind of shifted that up here so that I can use this space for my own designs. I think it'll be really interesting. I'm very excited to see where this goes and how it develops. And I hope you are too. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it right here. Call that an episode. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.